Good evening. I am excited to share with you, as I make a mess, stone, a stone mix, and so it's called HiFi and LoFi Mixtape, a blend of fresh and barrel-aged ales. So this is an interesting beer, and I wasn't even sure. I didn't even look at the style guidelines. I thought there's so much going on. This is going to be a specialty beer, but. It says, even before the science of beer was fully understood, those seeking to present the finest iteration of an ale in their ways had their ways of ensuring flavors and textures that were a cut above. In Britain, pub owners kept stock ales on hand, beers that had been left to mature in vats or oak barrels. During this aging period, the beers would mellow and occasionally develop a twinge of tartness. These publicans were unaware of the oxidative or microbiological reasons for such changes, but found that blending some of their stock ales with fresh beers, which tended to be bitter, overly bitter and smoky, made ideal quaffs for their patrons. For this beer, we have taken a page from this tale of British pub life, and blended stock ale aged more than 3 months in oak barrels. Oak foundries, large wooden fermentation vessels more commonly used by vintners, with a fresh version of a beer to create a perfect harmony spanning end to end on the taste spectrum. So it uses pale two-roll, English pale, mild ale, Bryce, and amber malts. And then the hops are Apollo, UK Target, and Willamette. And so it's half of it, part of it is aged in oak barrels, which I think is pretty great. So it says drink fresh or at cellar temp. So cellar temp, and I don't know specifically for beer, I think is right around 57 degrees, so it's not cold per se, but cooler than standard room temperature, which is closer to 70. So I'm really excited to give this a try. They've had a bunch of these like beer projects, and I've done a couple of reviews of some of the other ones, and they've really been enjoyable and just a nice, creative, and fun beer. So this is 8.8% alcohol by volume. Stochasticity project, and so awesome. I'm really excited about this. So smell-wise. There's, gosh, there is so much going on here. I don't even know where to begin. Wow, it's sweet and deep. I get all kinds of roastiness out of this. And then some hop finish to it. And it's kind of a floral, I don't even know. Florally bright though. This is going to be good. I am drooling just thinking about this. So appearance-wise, it's, unfortunately, you can't really see it from your perspective. It's a nice, kind of amber color. So, beautiful. It didn't pour with a lot of head. It's going to dissipate off, I'm pretty sure. It looks like it's lightly carbonated. Let's get into flavor. Wow. Their copywriter nailed it when they say that this is beer to create perfect harmony spanning end to end on the taste spectrum. That is exactly right. This is, I can type my password because my computer locked. Geez, for security. This is amazing. So up front, there is just a ton of complex maltiness, roasty, kind of toasty sweetness to it, And then the finish, and it takes a second. Like as I was in the middle of my second drink, I noticed like that I got the hops aftertaste and the finish. And the finish is even developing now as I'm talking. So it goes from like this perfect malty deep beer, and my first thought was this is like my favorite kind of beer. Like they nailed my beer category, but it developed into this almost IPA type finish that was really had some drying qualities to it. It was nice and tart and bitter, but then in the aftertaste, it really melds those two together, and you get the sweetness and the maltiness and the thick, full body with this kind of astringent, bitter, dry finish. That's really the best of both worlds as far as hop intensity and malt intensity. This is a really drinkable beer. This is good. I'm really glad that I tried this. Anything called Mixtape, I'm going to have to try at least once. But this is pretty amazing. Body-wise, it's definitely a full-body beer. This is no joke. And I think if you drank it at a warmer temperature, closer to cellar temperature as opposed to chilled, it would even come across as a heavier body beer because it has weight on your tongue. But it does offer a nice crisp carbonation that kind of balances that out. So it's enjoyable. I can feel just a little bit of alcohol warming, mostly like in my belly. So at 8.8%, it's a serious beer. But overall, I think it's really enjoyable. I think they did a great job of coming up with something interesting and creative, and kind of melding the best of like an aged beer, especially with the oak barrels, where you get that kind of oaky, deep flavor, and then crisp, drying hops. Very exciting beer. This is great. I don't know how far these Stone Project beers make it, so if this is something that you've tried, share with me your location, because I'm curious to know how far these get distributed and who's drinking them. So I definitely recommend it. I don't even know how to classify it, so it's going to go under specialty. But this is great. So maybe even like a strong ale, it almost comes across as. But anyway, I think it's a specialty beer. Anyway, amazing. Try it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.